Jackie. I'm one of the Women's Health Physiotherapists. This is a short instructional video on how to use a TENS machine for pain relief in labour. And along with the TENS leaflet that there's a link to here, you should have all the information that you need to be able to safely use a TENS machine in labour. If you want to hire a TENS machine from the hospital, then you must also print one of the TENS hire forms that's also linked in here in this section, and you need to sign it to say that you've watched this video and that you've read the leaflet. And then if you just fill in your name, address and telephone number and bring it in with you to the rehabilitation centre at the James Cook Hospital. If you come along in between 9 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday to Friday, and the rehabilitation centre is best accessed from the south entrance. You also need to bring with you £30 in cash. The actual cost is £20, but there's a £10 deposit that you get back when you bring the TENS unit back after your labour. Please can you come only when you're 37 weeks pregnant or more, purely so that we don't run out of the stock of machines. If you have any problems printing the form, then you can always ring the hospital on 01642 850 850 and ask for extension 53741, and then we can just send you a copy in the post. TENS stands for transcutaneous, which means through the skin, electrical nerve stimulation, and it's a battery operated electrical unit that gives a tingling sensation via electrodes by stimulating nerves through the skin to help give pain relief. The TENS machine used in labour has a base unit with various settings that are pre-programmed, with 2 intensity dials and an attached booster button. It operates via a 9-volt battery which is supplied, and there are 2 wires leads that attach into the machine corresponding with the intensity dials. Each of the wires leads then splits into 2, and they in turn attach to the sticky electrode pads, so they're a bit like a large thick sticking plaster, and so you end up with 2 pairs of these electrode pads. And for use in labour, the electrodes are attached onto the mother's back. Now, TENS works to relieve pain in 2 ways. One is that it stimulates the body to produce more endorphins, which are your body's natural pain relieving hormones. Secondly, it helps the brain to tune out some of the painful signals that it receives. It's a little bit like if you bang your arm and you instinctively go to rub your arm. You're giving the brain a different signal, which then reduces the painful signal that it's receiving. A bit like an electrical distraction, if you like. TENS can be used with all other forms of pain relief. Even if you're having an epidural, you can leave the top 2 electrodes in place and just remove the bottom 2 electrodes while the epidural's being set up, and then once it's up and running, you can remove the top electrode pads. TENS is completely safe to use, it's not addictive, it's non-invasive, and there's no known side effects to either the mother or the baby. It is, however, an electrical unit, so do not use it in water. So if you're having a bath, take it off, have your bath, and then reapply the TENS electrode pads once your skin is dry. If you keep the clear plastic backing, then you can just place the electrode pads onto there. The adhesive on the sticky pads is very sticky. And so it'll survive a good few reapplications, so you can just make sure that you keep hold of that and reapply it a number of times. There are very few reasons that you wouldn't be able to use a TENS machine. One of which is if you have severe epilepsy. Another, don't use it if you have a cardiac pacemaker. Don't use a TENS machine if you have broken skin or an area of numbness on your back over the area that you're going to be placing the electrode pads. And don't use if you've had a recent diagnosis of cancer. It's also advisable to avoid driving while you're wearing a TENS machine. Before applying the TENS, make sure that your back is dry and oil free. Then place the supplied 9-volt battery into the back of the TENS unit. Then connect the white ends of the 4 electrodes into the black and red ends of the leads, like that, and you do that with all 4 of them. It's totally relevant as to which one goes into the black and which one goes into the red. They're all the same. Make sure that both of the intensity dials are on 0 and that the machine is therefore switched off. And then if you take the lead and then push it into the terminal on the base unit. Then you need to apply the sticky electrode pads to the back. The positioning of the electrodes is really important to make sure that it's going to affect the appropriate nerve roots. But the pads are quite large, so it does give you quite a lot of leeway. And it's a good idea for birthing partners to watch this video just so that they know where to place the electrode pads for you on your back. So one pair of electrodes is placed with their top edge around bra level and about 2 to 3 centimetres or 1 inch either side of the spine. The other pair of electrodes is placed at the level of the sacral dimples at the base of your spine. Again, 2 to 3 centimetres, 1 inch either side of the spine. It doesn't matter whether the white leads come out of the side or the end of the pads, it's just sometimes different manufacturers, as long as the pads are placed with the short ends at the top and bottom and the long edges down each side. Now that the machine is set up and ready to use, it's important that only the woman in labour herself operates the machine, just because she's the only one who can feel the electrical stimulation. So you're ready to go. To start off with, just check that the booster button is in the raised position, so it's switched off, so that you're just getting the low frequency pulsating sensation to start off with. The machine has preset frequencies, it's all pre-programmed, so there's nothing that you need to adjust in that regard. To check that both channels are working, one by one, just switch on the intensity dial and gradually turn it up until you feel a tingling sensation. And you do the same thing with the other channel as well, just to check that both sets of electrode pads are receiving the signals and that both channels are working. Then switch it off. You know that both channels are working now, so then you can increase one by one up to a higher level so that you're getting a nice strong tingling sensation. Once you can feel that you're getting a strong sensation in all 4 of the electrode pads, you can then just slightly reduce that to a comfortable level. When you feel a contraction coming on, this is when you need to press the booster button. So you press the button down and that increases the sensation to a high frequency continuous sensation, and you will feel that a stronger tingling sensation, and it'll be continuous rather than just pulsating on and off. As the contraction dies down again, then you switch the booster button off, so into the raised position, so that switches the boost function off and it goes back to the low frequency pulsating sensation. As the brain becomes used to the sensation and also as the contractions get stronger, you will need to turn the intensity higher and higher to get a stronger tingling sensation. When the TENS is no longer needed, just make sure that you switch both intensity dials off so the machine is switched off before you remove the electrode pads. Dispose of the pads only, so the pads are disposable, but make sure you keep the leads and the base unit with the booster button. And then you return all of that in its case back to the rehabilitation centre in order to get your deposit, preferably within 2 weeks of your due date if you can. I hope you found this video useful, and if you'd like to hire a TENS machine, then just click on the link to read the TENS leaflet, and also click on the link to print off one of the hire forms to bring into the hospital. All the best with your labour and beyond. Thank you.